Catherine Austin, and welcome to Living Karma Yoga. This is a show where we celebrate all that the yoga world has to offer, from the postures to music, mantra, meditation, travel, cooking, and so much more. Yoga for 1 hour just isn't enough in today's busy world, so we want to help you take your yoga off the mat and into your life too. I hope you find here many tools to help you live the life you deserve. A life where you can literally vibrate love, joy, fulfillment, and abundance in all forms. So today our guest is Shelley Shindler. She's a registered yoga teacher, 500 hours, and she graduated from the University of Michigan and then started her career in healthcare. Her interest grew in the healing arts, and she began her journey into yoga. Shelley received her first certification with Catherine Austin, that would be me, of Karma Yoga. And Shelley's passion for healthy body, alignment, and spiritual study then led her to Anusara Yoga with John Friend, Desiree Rumbaugh, and Betsy Downing. She's trained in yoga therapy, yoga philosophy, and many of the sacred texts that are our primary foundation for spiritual understanding. Shelley's unique body of knowledge, love of teaching, and her hands-on experience make her classes a fully uplifting experience. Welcome, Shelley. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. This is a passion of mine.
And what an amazing bio. And that's what I love about Karma Yoga is the teachers are just so studied, living their yoga. I feel so grateful when I read a bio like that.
We all have this hunger or this thirst to learn more and more. There's never enough different ways of looking at the same things.
Right.
Make it a different light.
So today you're going to bring to us a class called Intro to Yoga, and you teach this quite often as a workshop that you can sign up for.
Right. Good. We have it a couple times a year, and we have the two studios, one in Bloomfield Hills and one in West Bloomfield. And this is a way for people who have, and I've heard so many excuses, to step into yoga in a comfortable, safe environment.
Right.
They don't have to worry about their arms being too short, because I've heard that, or their body's too big, or they're too stiff. Those are the reasons I hear all the time. And that's no reason not to practice yoga. Yoga is for everybody.
Yeah, they get a little nervous about stepping into their first public class, so it's nice to step into a class where everybody's at the same place, beginning.
Right.
Good.
And we are all in a way beginners, even us practice teachers. I still go to basic classes, and I always remember something I forgot.
And I always tell our regular students, great place to go work on your basics. Go to the intro class. It's not just for beginners.
Oh, that's for sure.
So tell me why you feel like Karma Yoga is so different and a great place to experience, and why you love teaching at Karma.
Well, Karma offers a very unique way of seeing yoga. Actually, I call it Eastern yoga, to tell you the truth, because it's not masqueraded as exercise. It's deep and it's powerful, and you sweat, but you're not moving in a way that'll hurt yourself, because we're so trained to notice your feet, your hips. We know that you're aligned, and then you, the student, decide how deep your practice can be in that moment, in that day, and it's safe. And you leave there feeling not only better physically, but emotionally and spiritually, and we see the world in a different way.
And just from your bio, you can tell that you can learn a lot more than just the physical postures at Karma. You can study sacred texts, you can learn to chant, you could use mantra. I mean, there's so many layers to yoga, way beyond the physical body. And so as far as you want to take your yoga, you can. If you want it for your exercise, you can. It's all good.
Right. I don't start the intro to yoga with any kind of mantra or anything like that.
Right.
We focus really on the breath. It's the way we breathe. And it sounds so, I don't want to say pedestrian, it sounds so basic.
Well, it's the doorway in, though. It really is.
We don't breathe, not we, but we don't breathe as a group. We breathe very shallow, so our bodies are always in a state of fight or flight.
Right.
And as soon as we learn to breathe, you can feel your body relax, and then the doorway. Doorway into a deeper practice, and all kinds of things happen and grow.
Great. Well, you're going to have these lovely ladies assisting you today.
Yes.
So have a great class. I'll see you at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so grateful. When we start in the intro class, we start seated. So I'm going to invite you guys to sit down. Now, many intro students are very nervous about sitting on the floor and they have a tough time. That's okay. Some very experienced students have a hard time too. So when I invite you to sit, I want you to notice how it feels. And if it feels like your shoulders are rounded and your knees are high, I'm going to invite you to take a bolster, if you like, which is right behind you, and sit on it and notice the difference when you sit up on a bolster. I'm going to join you down here too. So sit up nice and tall. How's that feel? Does that feel better? Great. Notice how first your shoulders are kind of rounded. Yeah. This is not good for our lungs to breathe. It's not good for our heart to beat, just on a physical level. So I'm going to invite you to sit up nice and tall. Take your shoulders and imagine you're trying to shrug up towards your ears, and you're going to roll them back behind you and just kind of let them be back there behind you. And then notice how effortful this is just to sit up. Yes? Now, sometimes we close our eyes when we learn to breathe, and it's not comfortable for everyone to close their eyes. So I want you to decide if you'd like to close your eyes or just kind of soften your gaze, or maybe just stare at something in front of you, whatever you're comfortable doing. It's hard going inside. And then you learn to breathe. Notice how shallow your breathing might be to start with. But slowly you're going to deepen your breath. And those who are watching, please feel free to breathe with us so you can notice how this feels. You can do this everywhere. As you inhale, lengthen the sides of your body long. Feel the expansion in your upper ribs and your chest. Keep that length, and then as you exhale, allow the breath to pour out as long as it took you to breathe in. And soon, you have a rhythm to your breath. In through your nose, and out through your nose. Learning to breathe like this takes a long time. It doesn't happen the first time. And so we recommend that you come at least 6 times to really experience yoga and start to see the effects. Of course, the effects happen sooner than that. Sometimes we bring our palms together in front of our heart. So sometimes we begin like that and we create an intention. Just what do you want to focus your mind on when you're here on the mat? Don't worry about what I'm saying. Just listen to your breath and remember your intention. Then release your hands back to your lap and slowly open your eyes, staying connected with your breath, and make your way to table pose. Means hands and knees. So however you get onto your hands and knees. Now sometimes it might bother your knees to be on your knees. Jacqueline likes to use a blanket under her knees. We have blankets, or you can always double your mat. I'm going to remove the bolster for now. Good, okay. And now we're in table pose, hands and knees. Everyone's going to press their fingerprints to the mat and kind of like soften your chest. The back of your shoulder blades kind of hug back behind you. And we're going to come into what's called cat and cow. With our breath, we're going to move. So as you inhale, you're going to round your back and look at your belly like a Halloween cat. And then as you exhale, reach your chest forward into cow. So they're going to draw their chest forward and their hips back and wide, and they're going to start moving cat and cow with their breath. Inhale and exhale. Doing yoga means just breathing. Just breathing. And if you're breathing and moving, that's even more. But I can tell you, they're already feeling more present, more conscious, more in this moment. Great. Come back to table pose, hands and knees. And then start to curl your toes under. I'm going to show you the basic poses today. So with the toes curled over, we're going to come into a pose called dog, which is a very popular pose. This pose takes a long time to learn, and I'm still learning it myself. So for today, with the toes curled under, you're going to start to draw your belly back and then start to lift your hips, lift your knees up. And this is called down dog. See how they just kind of unfurl into this dog. Walk your feet a little bit forward, Jacqueline, and your hips back. Yeah. Then from your heart all the way out, you extend. Now, if this looks like too much, you can always keep your knees back onto the floor. Or not, whatever feels good. Just find your way, whatever feels good. So if it feels okay, make your way back into down dog. From here, we're going to make our way to standing. So with your breath, nice and slow, either take your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. There's no wrong. It's only the way you do it. And then inhale, start to stand all the way up. Nice. Now that you're standing up nice and tall, you already feel the breath. Just come back to that breath. Remember, that's really why you're here. Now, with your breath engaged, we're going to move with that breath that you've cultivated. So as you inhale, circle your arms all the way up, nice and long, right into your fingers. Then exhale your arms all the way back beside you. Continue just like this, noticing the effort. And as soon as your mind starts to wander, then your fingers aren't so animated and your breath gets shallow again and you smile and just come back to your breath. We don't take ourselves too seriously here. Nice. One more time, all the way down. Then as you inhale, circle your arms all the way up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and just lift the left side of your body. You can actually lift it long and then exhale all the way to the right. Nice. Reach your left hip to the left. Step your feet into the floor. Imagine you're really pressing your weight into your feet. Did you forget to breathe? Then inhale, come all the way back to center. Let's change sides. Grab your right wrist, lift, inhale. Nice. Look how much taller you got. Can you feel it? And then exhale to your left. Your belly's engaged, your breath's engaged. Inhale all the way back to center. Exhale. Now bring your palms together and press them together as you pull them down to the center, through the center of your body to your heart. And notice how you can tone up your muscles, draw your shoulder blades back, and then release your arms to the side of your body once again. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Inhale, roll them back behind you. Just let them melt behind you and release your arms beside your body. Roll your palms forward. This is called mountain pose. And just breathe here. Soften your outer body. Breathe so that your ribs expand. You're taking your lungs, all the lobes of your lung, 3 lung lobes, are inflating all the way to your shoulders. And then all the way back down. It feels strange to breathe a full breath. Nice. And then if your eyes are closed, open up nice and long. Now we're going to come into a warrior pose. It's called Warrior 2. So you can remove the blanket from your mat. And we're going to take a wide stance and face toward the long edge of your mat. Take your hands to your hips so you feel nice and steady. And notice if you forgot to breathe in between the poses. I do it all the time. Pivot your right toes all the way out to the right. Now notice your left foot. We want your left toes rolled in so that they're a little bit narrower than your heel. Take your arms to T. Notice how that feels. Make sure even your fingers are toned, your arm muscles are toned. And notice your breath. Inhale. And now we're going to move with the breath. So as you exhale, bend your right knee and just notice what that feels like. It might be a little scary if you've never done it before. Now, there's no right or wrong. There's only places to go. So eventually, maybe not, definitely not on the first try, your thigh bone will come a little bit deeper, but you find the place that feels edgy to you right now. And now we're going to move into the space. So flip your palms up, and as you inhale, straighten your legs, extend your arms up all the way up over your head, and then exhale, bend your knees as much, your right knee as much as it feels deep for you. Then inhale and exhale. And notice as you exhale if you can soften a little bit deeper into that pose. One more time. Inhale. Muscles nice and toned. And then exhale back to warrior two. Check out your front shin. Make sure your front shin is not forward of your ankle. And if it is, come out of the pose just a little bit, or you can lengthen your legs and take your back foot further back. Play with it. Have fun with it. Breathe with it and just notice what it feels like. Then inhale, straighten your legs nice and long. Exhale your hands to your hips and pivot your feet parallel so that all your toes are aiming forward. Make sure there's a softness in your knees because that'll make a softness in your hips. And just kind of undulate your hips right and left and move with the breath. Yeah, however you move is good. No right, no wrong. Just you learning to be you. Make your way all the way back to center, shoulder blades back, take a breath. Then pivot your left toes out to the left. So what we do on one side, we do on the other side. Pivot your right toes in just a little bit. Arms to T, so this is warrior two on the left. So come into a deep lunge in your left knee. And just notice if the other side of your body feels different than the other side. The left side feels different than the right, and it should because they are different. And we're here to discover, what does it feel like? What are the sensations? How do I feel? So moving with your breath. As you inhale, lengthen your arms up, straighten them up over your head, straighten your legs long. And then exhale, soften deeper into this lunge, reaching your left thigh bone out to the left just a little bit. Yeah. And then two more times, just like this, moving with your breath, noticing the inhale up and the exhale as you soften, soften, soften. One more time, inhale. We all have our different rhythms of how we do things. And exhale. Perfect. Find your way into the space. Inhale. And then take your hands back to your hips. Pivot your feet parallel once again, so all your toes are aiming forward. And then come back to the front of your mat. Nice. Shoulder blades up and back. So how do you guys feel? You feel good? You feel different than you did when you started?
Oh.
Just with the breath. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So we're going to do a pose called Fierce Warrior. You're going to bend your knees so that your shins are forward and your bum is back, like you're sitting back in a little chair. Like you're sitting back, the chair is way behind you just a little bit, yeah. And maybe you can circle your arms up, or maybe you'll take your hands to your hips. Maybe that'll be more comfortable. Lots of options. But just notice how it feels in your hips as you hug your shins toward each other. Draw your belly in and up and you breathe. You can circle your arms up. You can keep your hands at your hips. Now come all the way up to standing, nice and long. And take your palms together in front of your heart. Release your arms beside you. Now I'm going to teach you a series of 3 poses that are generally used in a lot of classes to connect poses so that they move like a flow from pose to pose. And you'll see how you do it. Everyone's going to do it in their own way. Don't worry what anybody else is doing, because only you are going to do it like you do it. So when you're ready, come back to your breath. And then we begin to move. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up, so we've been here already before. Exhale, fold forward, nice and deep. Bend your knees a lot. Bend your knees a lot. Because this time we're going to step your right foot all the way back behind you, and you want your hands on the floor. Why don't you lower your right knee to the floor, both of you. Now take your left foot back behind you, nice and long, and take your left knee to the floor so you're back in table. Look at your hands. I'm going to make sure when you come to Intro to Yoga that your hands are rooted in such a way that you don't put a lot of weight in your wrists and that you're as safe as you can be. Once your fingers are really grounded and your breath is connected, I'm going to put you in a pose we call plank. So step your right foot back, coming onto the tiptoes of your right foot. Now, step your other foot back, your left foot back, coming onto the tiptoes of your left foot. If that feels like it's too much, or you're not ready for it, lower your knees to the floor where you're at. Notice what that feels like. Yeah, same pose, looks different, but you're nice and supported, and yes, yet it's very edgy. So with your knees onto the floor, lower your knees back to the floor, and start to lower your hips to the floor and your chest to the floor, all the way onto the floor. Nice, toenails on the floor. Now we have a class in Karma, at Karma called Gentle Karma, and if you need something, if this looks like it's too much, we have classes that don't include this pose, but this is an intro class, and I wanted to just expose you to what this felt like. So take your hands back beside your ribs with your palms on the floor. Scoop your chest up, lift your chest, and just feel it in your back of your shoulder blades, just a little bit. This is called Cobra. Now lower your chest a bit and see if you can lift your palms up off the floor, lifting your hands, letting your hands kind of hover, and you feel the power in the back of your body. This is a set of muscles we do not notice in our lives, and we want to really power them up, and we work on that in yoga. Take your hands back to the floor, and we're going to come into a pose called Child's Pose. So come back to table pose, hands and knees. Widen your knees as wide as your mat. Bring your big toes together. Now you can take your hips halfway back. You can take your hips all the way back. Just notice what feels good and find your breath here. Notice if you have forgotten your breath and just smile. That's okay. That's what we do. Breathe in and out. The energies in your bodies are moving. You might feel a little humming in your body. You're feeding every cell in your body with breath, with prana. Your body's not used to it because that's not what we do. Make your way back to table pose, hands and knees. So we've been here before also. There's one thing a very important pose that I want to show you. So I want you to walk your knees over to your right. Walk your knees over and come on to sitting on your left hip. Swing your legs forward. Now this pose, so your legs toward me, come onto your mat, yeah, nice. Bend your knees, take your feet to the floor, and I want you to come to lying on your back. So I don't know if you're going to need that blanket under you or not, maybe not, probably not. The most difficult yoga pose is said to be this last pose that we come into at the end of every practice so that everything you've just done, the breathing, the movement, can come deep into your body. It can become a memory in your body for how to breathe and what it feels, what it feels like to feel good. So you're just going to soften your shoulders up towards your ears and back behind you. And you're going to lengthen your legs nice and long onto the mat. Maybe you'll widen your legs as wide as your mat. Bring your palms so that they're palms up beside your body. And you're going to release any tension in your body. Now the first time it's hard. The 10th time it's hard too. But as you release any tension you feel in your feet, your legs, your hips, your shoulders, your arms, your fingers. Allow the whole back side of your body to melt into the earth. This is called Shavasana, a deep yoga rest. The breath has prepared you. The movement has aligned you. And every time you come to your mat, you come a little bit deeper into this very sacred place. And we take rest. We stay here for about 5 minutes. Notice your thoughts as they come into your mind, and see if you can just witness those thoughts. See your thoughts like clouds passing by, and take rest. It's not easy.
Thank you so much for this beautiful class. I don't want to disturb their Shavasana too much, because most people need more relaxation more than anything. So, if you'd like to join us at Karma Yoga, Shelley often has introduction to yoga courses, so you can see those online at our website. It's www.karma-yoga.net. But also feel free to step into any of our beginning classes anytime, and that would be like a gentle karma. It could be a karma yoga class. Wednesday nights we have candlelight restorative. So we have many selections on the schedule for all the classes that you would like. So thanks again, Shelley, for assisting us, and they look beautifully relaxed. Namaste.
May the long time sun shine